Welcome back to the channel, guys. Kara Corey here, registered dietitian. If you're new here, be sure to stick around, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button if you do enjoy this video. We do a lot of different things on this channel: nutrition, fitness, cooking, fashion hauls, you name it, a little bit of everything. So I hope you stick around. And for today's video, we are going to do a quick little Q&A that I got some questions from on Instagram. I apologize in advance. My voice is normally not this low and raspy, so if you hear me sounding like I'm going through puberty, I'm really okay. I've just got like a little bit of a cold or something going on here, so bear with me. I'm gonna stay hydrated while we go through this and answer some of your questions. I have had some people comment on my YouTube videos, like they want to ask me questions for videos and always miss like the Q&A period. Feel free to always comment below in my YouTube videos. I always look at your comments and I use what you guys ask me down there to create ideas for videos. Go ahead and follow me on Instagram as well. It's Kara Corey Fit Life. DM me, send me messages over there. I'm always trying to do my best to check everyone's messages to answer your questions. So we got a little bit of everything in this Q&A. This first one says, is drinking celery juice actually beneficial apart from whatever micros you may get? Celery juice is such a hot topic right now. It's a very hot, trendy item on Instagram, on social media. And my bottom line is, from the information I've gathered, from what I've looked at, eating celery is good for you. There's definitely good nutrition in celery. Now, is there a difference when you take celery from its natural state and juice it and drink it that then yields all these supposed health benefits? I don't think so. I don't really think it's any different, and I'm just keeping it very general here, but I often recommend for folks to consume their vegetables or fruits in the more natural raw state if they're able to. Something like celery is crunchy, it is low calorie, and there is some good nutrition there. I would rather someone eat it as a crunchy, filler snack during the day versus drinking it. Is one better than the other? Well, it depends how you're juicing. Sometimes when folks juice, they do remove the fiber from it. So if you're someone that's juicing it but maintaining the integrity of all of the celery within your juice, I guess that's okay. But I guess my point here is there isn't any one magical food, and it was apple cider vinegar for a while, and I feel like celery juice is kind of like the new apple cider vinegar, claiming tons and tons of health benefits. People wake up, they drink it, they say they feel less bloated, more energized, all these things that I think may just come along with hydrating yourself first thing in the morning, not necessarily, something magical from celery. So I'm not against it. I just think it's like a hot and trendy thing, and it doesn't necessarily offer as many health benefits as people are claiming. I honestly couldn't really find any scientific research or like evidence-based studies being done on those drinking celery juice having any changes to their health. So if you guys have found any research like that, let me know, but I couldn't find anything like that. So my take on it is, no, you don't need to juice your celery. I feel like I can keep rambling about that. If you could be a celebrity for a day, who would you be and why? That's like such a good question, and I don't really think about these before I come on film. Like instinctually, I want to say Jennifer Aniston, just because I've always loved her and I look up to her as like a female role model who hasn't done what society like wants a woman to do, like just get married and birth those kids and all that kind of stuff. And I'm kind of not, I feel like I'm not like the average woman. So I'd love to be her for a day and kind of see like what life's like at her stage, because she's like 49, 50. I don't know. She looks phenomenal. And I don't know. I think it'd be really cool to kind of know what goes on inside of her head and, also just be Jennifer Aniston. We're like, hello, like she's a hottie. But then like I also kind of would want to be a UFC fighter. I know that sounds very silly. But I just want to be like a badass too for a day. So I can't say her last name. Ioana J. And she just got a set of boobs. So that'd be cool because if I was her for a day, then I could kind of feel out what it's like to have big boobs, but also like get in a fight and be tough. And she's from Poland, so it'd be cool if like I could be her in Poland and like travel the world. I know we're just talking one day, but I would try to cover as much territory as possible. That's a hard question. Like, I could keep going on. Like, it'd be cool to be Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson too, because I mean, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson for president, hello, like everyone adores him. He's amazing. He's a badass. He eats epic cheat meals. Like, yeah, it'd be fun to be Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson too. The next question asks how to deal with an injury. And that's a really good question, because actually I've had a few clients lately have some issues with injury and really having to kind of reassess, what do I do now? I want to still, maintain my health. I don't want to gain too much weight. I don't want to lose all my progress. Those are definitely valid concerns. Handling an injury, number one, definitely work with your doctor, your physical therapist, whoever's treating you for the injury, and follow their advice. I often see people, including myself, I've been there too, who want to just jump back into it too soon without allowing that proper recovery time, because it sucks to be, out of commission. It sucks to not be able to do the normal daily activities you enjoy and you love. But if you jump back into it too soon, you risk re-injury, and all that's going to do is just delay the progress. It's going to delay your recovery so that you are just dealing with this injury that much longer. So I encourage you to take the time off that your doctor tells you. If it's 8 weeks, take the full 8 weeks. Don't try to I'm going to take 8 weeks, but I'm just going to work out and do this. So that's my advice on the recovery piece of things. Number two, if you're bedridden, if you can't be as active, sure, your intake is probably going to need a bit of an adjustment. Whether you track macros or not, you're probably going to notice your appetite isn't going to be as high because your expenditure of calories isn't as great. What I will say, though, is don't try to compensate and do some massive extreme cut because you can't work out. Because the ultimate goal there is recovery, right? And part of recovery is getting proper nutrition. I don't care what you're recovering from, what injury it is, having proper nutrition in your body, the right supply of nutrients, micronutrients, depending on what the injury is. If it's a bone healing situation, getting enough calcium in, getting enough vitamin K, all these types of things that are just going to support your body's ability to recover. So instead of freaking out about I may gain weight, really focus that shift towards let me try to make sure I'm getting as much nutrition in as possible right now to really support my health, my immune system, and the recovery process. And yeah, you may see some physical changes while you're down and out for a bit with your injury, but at the end of the day, that's just life, you guys. You're gonna have different shifts and waves within your life, and yeah, your body might be a little bit softer if you're in a cast or if you can't ambulate as much. But that can all change as soon as you are able to be active again. So it's hard to kind of accept an injury, but just accept it for what it is. Take on that challenge and just use that time to, focus a bit more on your health and get better. Next question asks, can you talk about your experience with birth control? I actually had a couple questions about that, also relating to coming off birth control. If you guys have watched my videos or follow me, I've been off birth control now for a full year. I had been on birth control for a total of 20 years. You heard that correctly. I started birth control at the age of 14, and the reason why I was put on birth control was because I had, some issues with acne in high school. And I remember they first put me on antibiotic for a while. We tried everything, but then eventually I got put on a low dose birth control, and that seemed to help regulate things. And then from there stayed on it for a long time because I wasn't trying to have kids. I chose to go off it, not because I'm trying to have kids, but because as you get older, you start thinking about your health and your hormones and everything that's going on in your body. And I just felt like it wasn't good to be on birth control that long. That was just my not educated, not researching it at all. I just didn't feel right about being on it forever, for life. So I wanted to go off it and just see how I felt, see what happened, just kind of allow my body to naturally regulate and kind of get my hormones to be regulated on their own without some synthetic, pill going into my body. My experience on birth control was fine. I didn't notice any side effects being on birth control. I still had occasional breakouts, but going off birth control is kind of when I realized some of the impacts birth control was having on me, if that makes sense. So when I went off birth control, I noticed like kind of a difference in how my body looked, not necessarily like some major shift weight on the scale. It's a common question I get from people scared to go off the pill, whether they're going to gain a bunch of weight, how that's going to impact their weight. I myself never noticed a huge change in my weight being on the pill. And I did not notice a huge difference going off of the pill. But what I will say is I just noticed a change in kind of how I looked and how my body felt. I do feel like my face was like more swollen, like almost like the pill. I don't know that it bloated me per se, but like I just feel like I looked different being on the pill when I look back at videos and pictures and things like that. And it had nothing to do with my weight. I could be the same weight and my face just looks different now. And same with my body, like my stomach area, like my fat distribution, I guess, is a little bit different in my body. And I do correlate that with the birth control pill. The other thing I'll say, and I probably could do a whole video on this, I think I have, I do experience period cramps now, which I never had before. Sorry if that's TMI, but I never had any issues with cramping. And now I do feel like my actual period, that time of the month, is a little bit more challenging than it used to be. And the other thing is my acne definitely came back, and it's been a little bit on and off since being off the pill. I've had my ups and downs with it for the past year. So I don't have it all figured out yet, you guys, and I'm trying to like not take anything. I want to like do this naturally to regulate my hormones. And so I'm still working on that. I actually just bought a book about, coming off the pill. So a lot of people asked me about that. I can definitely give you guys a review on that book and what I learned if you want that in a separate video. Next question says, are you still counting macros? If so, are you on maintenance? Just wondering, love you. I would say I hadn't been probably for a few months. Like once I got to maintenance, I kind of just switched over to more intuitive eating. I kind of stopped weighing myself as much and just really focused more on not focusing on numbers, if you will. I felt like I was in a good place to be able to do that and maintain where I was at. And going through the holiday season, I felt like it was just less stressful for me not tracking, because sometimes tracking would lead me to an all or nothing type approach. So the holiday season, it worked very well for me to stick to like more of an intuitive approach, which I pretty much have maintained all through then. We've got the Arnold coming up in like less than 3 weeks, and hopefully good weather is around the corner. So I actually have started back up tracking. I know some people are like really anti-tracking right now, and some dietitians are. I'm not one of those dietitians. Tracking's a really helpful tool for me. And I don't feel like it compromises my relationship with food. So every individual is different, but for me, it really does help me kind of better learn and respond to my own body and behaviors without going too far deep into it. I do find it to be a very great tool. I don't find it too cumbersome because, once you do it for a while, you get very used to tracking. And I will say with tracking, I'm not religious about how I weigh my food. I don't, if I bring an avocado to work or a banana, I'm not weighing my food at work. I might kind of portion it out the night before so I have an idea of what I'm bringing, but it's nothing I'm super religious about. And I'll still track and I guesstimate, and I think I am pretty good at guesstimating at this stage of my life. So, yeah, I wasn't tracking, and now I'm just getting back into it. So this is a random one, but my buddy Fit Trucker asked, do you get car sick when in an Uber, or are the rides too short? It's a really good question. If you guys don't know, I've been car sick since I was a baby. My mom tells stories about me being a little baby in my car seat, puking all over the place, and I've just always had issues with it. So that's why I am the driver for the Corey family. Jason is always in the passenger seat. I recently took a trip though, and my sister drove for 2 hours, and I was fine. Like, as long as you're going straight, there's not a lot of stopping and starting and change of speed limit, I'm good to go. So it's kind of more about that versus the duration. I've been in some Ubers where I am physically ill when I get out of them, and I have horror stories about throwing up in my travels. That is for another video if you want to hear gross stuff like that. But yeah, I am very, very touchy. So I try to do whatever I can to like be the driver. Like, I'd rather rent a car over take an Uber just so I know I'm going to feel good, because when I get that car sick nausea, it sticks with me all day and it sucks. Someone asked if I'm going to the Arnold this year. Yes, I am. I kind of already mentioned that. I will be at booth 2315 with MTS Nutrition. Jason and I will be there. Mark will be there. I'm not sure who else is going to be there, but we always have a great time at the booth. If you guys are able to stop by, I love to meet you. I love to talk to anyone that follows the channel, because I'm always like, wait, why do you follow me? Why do you like me? But also come on by. We'll have some good stuff going on, and I'd love to meet you guys. So I'm excited to go because we didn't go last year. I always get a couple of these questions, and I think I've answered it before, but we'll answer it again. Do you think you'll leave your day job for YouTube full time? And then someone else asks, is your goal for the future to be a coach/influencer full-time and quit your day job? I definitely would never quit my day job for YouTube. I love YouTube, but most people who make a lot of money off YouTube aren't just doing YouTube. YouTube is something just like Instagram and any other social media outlet. It's not yours. It can be taken away at any moment in time. So even those huge YouTubers who are making bank on the advertisements from their YouTube usually have other sources of income, usually have some type of merch, or they have side businesses, or they have money invested in other areas of their life, because I don't think it's smart to rely on YouTube. I would never quit my job for YouTube, number one, because I don't make that much money off YouTube. It's pretty public information. You can look it up. Would I make more money off YouTube if I quit my day job? Probably, because I'd be able to focus my efforts more on YouTube content and consistency. But I am someone that needs that like interaction with people. In terms of quitting my day job to be an influencer/coach, I feel really weird about the term influencer and even coach, but I would quit my day job to focus my efforts more on being a registered dietitian. I will say that. That is what I went to school for. That to me remains my passion. Something when I think about being happy when I do work, it's doing things associated with helping to educate others on living healthier lives and reaching their goals, and being the one that helps them get there is just so cool. So for me, I would probably look to, and I am looking to continue to expand that. I just don't know. I don't know how it looks for me yet, guys. And sometimes that's a hard thing to talk about on social media in a world where everyone seems like they've got all their shit figured out. I'm here to tell you I don't have all my shit figured out yet. Just keeping it real. My day job provides a lot of stability, great benefits, and a great retirement plan if I do happen to stay there. But it's not necessarily my passion. So I'm trying to still kind of figure out what will make me happy at the end of the day. So I guess my little words of wisdom to you are, if you don't have it all figured out yet, it's okay. So I don't know if that answers your question. If it's unclear, it's because I'm still unclear what direction I'm going, but at least I'm honest about it. Do you change your macro ratios often? Not intentionally. Like when I eat more intuitively, I tend to eat much higher fat. Like if I'm just gonna eat whatever I want, I tend to go towards a higher fat macro split with a little bit lower protein, higher carb. Like I would just rather have like all the carbs and fats and like meh on protein, which is why I do like tracking, because it brings that awareness to me, like maybe that isn't like in terms of health the best macro split for you. So I really don't change it up too much intentionally. I've kind of learned what works best for my body. You know, I've done this enough. I've worked with a lot of coaches, and just really kind of figured out what macro split works best for me. Would you get another dog soon? I love that question because I want to say yes. I'd get another dog like right now. I'd get all of the dogs and chickens and goats and tiny pigs. I want all the farm animals. The problem is, my husband won't let me because I won't take care of them. Our house isn't big enough. Our house is not big enough for me, Jason, and Bruce Wayne. Like, I didn't realize how giant this dog was going to be. And I feel like we have a good sized house. Like, it's a very open floor plan. But that dog gets in my way so much. He will block me in the laundry room. He blocks me in the bathroom. And because he follows you everywhere, you just kind of get stuck. And so I don't think we have enough room in this house to have another dog. And I do want another Corso. I want like all the Corsos because they're amazing. So I think the first step is getting a bigger house. Oh, someone asked, did you finally get the mold situation at your house resolved? So we have finished all the remediation, but
Early summer?
I think we finished it like early summertime. The bottom line is most houses do have some form of mold, some level of mold in their house. So do we have no mold in the house? Highly unlikely. But we do not have the issue we were experiencing before, thankfully. That was a really scary situation because we didn't know if it was going to be our entire house that needed to be remediated or not. So financially, and that was just, I don't even like thinking about that. It makes me sick. That was such a crummy time. That's the other thing too. Insurance wouldn't cover it. We had them come out here like 3 times. It was a battle. It sucked. Yeah, so much for all this money you pay in homeowners insurance. And then it's like, nope, sorry. It's like, wait a second, this isn't our fault. When will the GameChanger bags be back? Those GameChanger bags sold out. I think the black sold out right away, and then the camel, I think, was there a little bit longer, but sold out. Word on the street is that I think they're going to be restocking them for, I know there's a March launch coming out. I'm not sure if they'll be available then, but I do know they are restocking them. So I'll give you guys an update as soon as I know when. I'm thinking early summer maybe. So I wouldn't sleep on those. How did you and Jason Corey meet? Seems strange to only refer to him as Jason. I think we've done like a little couples Q&A, but if you've missed that, Jason and I actually met because we both worked at a movie theater. That was my first job, and that was his first job as well. But he was in college, so he wasn't always at the theater. He would come back and work like during his time off. So I remember he came back like Christmas vacation, I think it was, and I'm like, who is this guy? Little skateboarder guy. He's cute. And I don't know, we always had fun when we worked together, and we worked together for a while, and we ended up like dating later on. It was kind of a funny relationship because Jason's just a big jokester, so his method of flirting was like throwing pies in my face and mooning me. And apparently that's what I'm into. He just reeled me right in. But no, he was just very genuine. And like I could just tell, even though, like, you know, you're young and it's hard to like know that that's like your person or your life partner. But there was something about him that was just like I felt so safe with. And like I knew I was it for him. Like I knew with him I felt safe. I felt like he had total loyalty to me, and he just made me feel like a total queen. And who doesn't want to feel like that? So how did you start collaborating with brands like Buff Bunny and Tiger Fitness? Tiger Fitness happened quite a while ago now that I built that relationship. Really, it was just at the time I was kind of like a free agent trying out a bunch of different supplements. I did loads and loads of supplement reviews on my channel. And was offered a lot of different like deals to be sponsored or whatever, and didn't take them. And then I did some videos on MTS nutrition, and I did like Mark's little booby thing, the pec pop. I don't know what it's called, but anyways, Jason actually had started coaching with Mark previously, and then I started coaching with him as well, and you know, I don't know, just out of the blue one day, well, not really out of the blue, he was starting to build MTS Nutrition more because it was really in its early stages, and he had picked a few athletes to kind of help assist with, you know, the brand and promoting the brand, and I got chosen. So that was really cool on that end. So that was with MTS Nutrition, and then it kind of branched from there. And as most of you guys know, Mark's like family. He's one of our best friends, so we kind of work, all of us, together in a lot of things. And now Jason works for Mark under MTS Nutrition. So in terms of collaborating with Buff Bunny, I started doing clothing hauls on my channel only a little over a year ago. It was like December 2017 I started doing clothing hauls as something new on my channel, and I did a few reviews of her items. I had also been talking back and forth with her on Instagram, like we had been chatting quite a bit, you know, just like friendly conversation, and I had asked her if she wanted to collab sometime, and she was like, yeah. And that's when I went down to San Antonio. We hung out, became friends, and just kind of continued to build the friendship from there. And she, you know, had reached out to me about promoting the brand and becoming an affiliate when she started her affiliate program, which I was like so honored because I just love her items anyways, and they just keep getting better. So I was like, yes, girl. Yeah, and I haven't had a lot of sponsorships, if you will. That's not really a sponsorship, but in general, I've just been very picky about who I work with and why, and if it kind of fits where I'm at in my life and my mission. So that's just something really important for me. So that's why, you know, you guys have seen me, you know, with Tiger Fitness for such a long time, because, you know, I'm loyal. I'm a loyal hoe. Last question we will do. And it says, do you ever see yourself moving? If so, where? If you would have asked me this 5 years ago, I would have said no. I see myself forever living in New York, mostly because all of my family is fairly central. You know, my parents, my sister, my brother's not too far away. Jason's family's not too far away. And that's always been really important to me. But honestly, the weather here has been starting to drive me nuts. I've become one of those people that complains about the weather during the winters, and I don't want to be that person because it's like, why do you live here if you're going to complain about it? I don't know. Lately, I've kind of been thinking that maybe we would move somewhere, you know, where it's warm all year round. But I do love snow. And I hate to leave the family, but I also feel like, you know, you're always just a plane ride away. When Jason and I first started dating, we were like, we're definitely going to move to California. Like, we were like gung-ho going to move to California when we first met. I don't know why. Like, just at the time, that's where we were going to move. Jason's best friend lived out there. And then that slowly was like, I don't want to move to California. Like, I just don't want to be so, like, populated, like, around people and have no space and room. And we live in the country now, so it's really nice to have that, like, room and space. So it's something I would always want. But I do love the Florida weather. Texas is pretty big too, and apparently everyone seems to move there. Jason's aunt sold her house, and I really wanted to buy it. Like, I really wanted to just, like, pack up and move to Texas and buy her house, but I wasn't that impulsive, I guess. So I don't know where, but I don't think we'll live in New York forever. I don't think either of our bodies can handle it. So, all right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, enjoyed hanging out with me, maybe learned something cool about me. I know this one I stuck a little bit more with, like, the personal questions. So if you guys want me to do another Q&A more like nutrition based, let me know, because I am going to save all your questions that you did ask me to respond to them likely in another video if that's what you guys want. So if you like the video, hit that thumbs up button, and I will see you in the next video.